Chapter 1-2. What will Eren do if he decides to against the future that is set for him? And what will happen if Ymir decides to free Eren from the curse and the vow so that he can do anything he wants? You are free by raychiu. Eren is kneeling on the ground while Historia, the current queen of Eldia, places his medal around his neck. He kisses Historia's hand, and just then, gold sparks come from Eren's mind and he finds himself standing in a place where there are only sand and stars. Where am I? Eren asks until he finds a girl holding a bucket of water building a sand titan. Curious, Eren walks towards her and says, "You are?" The girl finally looks at Eren and she slowly mutters, "Papa." "Papa? Me?" Eren is confused and Ymir nods. Then she signals Eren to follow, and Eren nods as he walks along with the girl. Can you tell me your name? I mean. The girl slowly says Ymir. Eren is slightly confused. Ymir is the name of the girl with the jaw titan before she went with Reiner and the others, but he decides to shake off the thoughts and says, "Okay, Ymir. Can you tell me where exactly are we?" "The coordinate." Ymir mutters. When she stops, Eren looks at the coordinate and touches it, and just then, he starts to see the story of the girl in front of him. Ymir lived in a peaceful village and she was fetching water from a well. One day, a group of Eldian soldiers arrived, they burned the whole village and the villagers were either dead or enslaved. Ymir was one of them and she was forced to be a slave to the king. She looked at the crowd gathering, she saw a man kissing a woman with love, she just stopped there and stared. Just then, a pig escaped from its pen with the door open, and King Fritz said, "One of you let a pig escape. If nobody fesses up, every one of you loses an eye. Slaves have no need for two." Everyone was frightened, and just then, all of them were pointing their fingers at Ymir. "You're the one who let it escape?" King Fritz asked the kneeling Ymir, who turned to the other slaves with fear and sadness in her eyes. Nobody wanted to help her, and then she lowered her head. "Very well. You are free." The scene changed with Ymir running in the forest, her eye was torn, and she had an arrow attached to her body. Behind her, Eldians were using bows and arrows while riding on horses, trying to hunt her. Ymir was hit as she fell to the ground, the Eldians thought she was dead, so they left her alone. But just after they were gone, Ymir slowly got up, her only eye flowing with tears. She noticed a large tree and she slowly walked toward it. Noticing that the Eldians were back, she quickly stepped inside. Drips of water could be heard, and Ymir slipped and fall into the pool of water in the sinkhole. All hope seemed to get lost, and Ymir accepted her fate as she was about to die. Just then, a spiny creature appeared and attached itself to her. A lightning happened, and the Eldians were terrified to see Ymir turned into the Titan, and she let out a roar. Then the scene changed back to the castle. "You've done well, my slave Ymir," Fritz said. "You've built roads, cultivated the wilds, and bridged mountains. My tribe Eldia has grown quite large. As a reward, I shall give you my seed." Ymir bowed to the king, and the scene changed to the war with Marley. "In the name of Fritz, annihilate the vile people of Marley." With Ymir's Titan, Eldia started to invade other nations with war, and eventually, founder Ymir was pregnant and she had Maria, Rose, and Sina. When Marleyan officers kneel before Fritz, one of them rises in retaliation and throws his spear at him. Ymir intervenes, letting the spear impale her through the shoulder. She collapses in front of Fritz as her daughters look on in horror. They rush to her, and in secret, Ymir transferred all of the powers to Maria, Rose, and Sina. "What are you doing? Get up. I know you won't die from a mere spear, my slave Ymir," Fritz said. Without the power of the Titans in her body, Ymir finally closed her eyes. The scene changed again, and Maria, Rose, and Sina were eating Ymir's body with tears in their eyes. "Feast, my daughters. Whatever it takes, Ymir's power must be carried on. Eat every last piece of Ymir's body, Maria. Rose. Sina. My daughters. Bear children and multiply. Ymir's blood must be passed on. If my daughters die, feed their spines to my grandchildren. If they die, feed their spines from child to child." Eren takes his hand back as he can't believe what he's seeing. You're the mother of Maria, Rose, and Sina, the three goddesses. Founder Ymir. Eren is not one to believe the Church of Walls beliefs, but with everything happening he can only widen his eyes in shock. Ymir then turns back while walking towards the unfinished Titan, and Eren hears the voice of King Fritz, "Even after I pass, Eldia will dominate the lands with its monstrosities, and our Titans shall reign supreme for eternity. Until the world's end. For etern dash. I'll end it." Eren rushes towards Ymir and hugs her from behind. "I'll put an end to this cruel world. You're not a slave. You're not a god. You're just a person. You don't have to bow to anyone. You can decide. It's your choice. You get to choose." "But master," Founder Ymir mutters. "Were you the one who led me here? You've been waiting this whole time. For 2,000 years. For someone." Eren says with a solemn voice. "Tell me, what should I do to get you out of this mess?" Founder Ymir is now having tears in her eyes, and she holds Eren's shirt tight. Eren feels sad for Ymir, her soul has been wandering around the paths for so long. "I wanted to leave this place, Papa. I'll bring you out of here, just tell me what I need to do?" Eren asks, and just then, Ymir shows him the memories of the future, and Eren starts to watch it like footage. He sees how they wipe out the Titans on the island, and how Marley sent their ships and the anti-Marleyan volunteers. How the world declares war on parody, and how he becomes distant from the other Survey Corp members until they become the ones who kill him when he's trying to do the rumbling for their sake. Is this the only way to get you out of this place? Eren trembles a little, and Ymir shakes her head. No, Papa. The future isn't set in stone. I don't like this future as well. I want to stay with Papa. And how are you going to stay with me? And by the way, why are you calling me Papa? Eren asks. The power of the attack titan can see the future. I will be Papa's daughter once I reborn. Ymir says. My daughter. Eren said with a slight shock that meant that he would be married before activating the rumbling, but then there is also another problem. Will I be able to do a mass murder? I know all of them hate Eldians because of our powers, but was it necessary to kill all of them because of it? There are also infants who don't even know a thing. There is another way, wait for the island's demise, that also means killing all of the Eldians. Ymir says. I won't agree to that. If the rumbling is what I need to save the island, then I'll do it. Eren says. But Mikasa would be the one killing me if I activate the rumbling, and if I don't activate the rumbling, I only have 8 years left. I don't want Papa to die as well, that's why I removed the curse on you. Removed the curse on me? Only me? Eren asks with a slight surprise, and Ymir nods. Yes, Papa. The curse appears because of my will. Not only that, but I also broke the vow of renouncing war for you. You can use the full power of the rumbling whenever you want. If that's the case, what about Armin? Will you remove his curse? Eren asks, but Ymir shakes her head. No, don't wanna. Why not? He's my best friend, why can't dash? Before he can finish, Ymir shows him what the others are thinking about Eren. They blame him for Sasha's death while they are teaming up with the real killers of Sasha to attack the military base. Eren knows very well that they are doing this because he himself is going to be a mass murderer for their sake, but seeing it pains his heart. They're going right to Eren to kill him. If Eren dies, parody will sink into a sea of blood, and your parents, siblings, and children will all die. And with Ymir showing how the World Alliance destroyed Parody Island, even though they lose 80% of the population, they are still able to fight back, and Armin, Mikasa, and the Survey Corps are the cause of it. How dare they? Rage is getting inside Eren's mind. The memories of how they spent their time together are replaced by a broken heart. If I let them save the remaining humanity only for our island to be destroyed, then why would I bother setting everything up? The more he thinks of the future, the more he is angry. And now that he knows the future, he knows how to make sure that the rumbling is complete. And there is also the current military faction and Zeke. He knows that Yelena and Zeke won't tell anyone about their euthanization, so having them on their side will also be nice. So Papa? Ymir asks, and Eren says to Ymir. Ymir. I'll handle everything from now on, just take a rest and stop making titans unless I ask you to. Okay. Ymir says as she gets Eren back to the real world. After the award ceremony is over, Eren leaves the group and Armin asks, Eren? Where are you going? I'm not feeling well, I'll just stay in my room. Eren says. Do you need me to accompany you? Mikasa asks with concern, and Eren says, don't worry. I'm fine. Just please give me some alone time, thank you. Then Eren walks away, and everyone in the scouts notices something is wrong with Eren. He seems to be acting a bit weird after that award ceremony. I wonder what's wrong with him? Jean asks. Do you think it is maybe the memory thing? Armin asks, after reaching the basement, he seems to be having a lot of memories from the past holders in his mind. I don't know, maybe we should try to follow him? Sasha asks, and the rest of the scouts nod as they decide to follow Eren. When Eren walks into his room, he lies on the bed and starts to think about the past events, and the vivid memories of how his Aunt Faye was killed, how Marley turned Eldians into titans, and the fact that they are still gathering together to declare war on their island is also making him mad. I will kill them all. Eren thinks while staring at the mirror in front of him. The next day, Eren is still doing his titan training, and he makes sure not to let others know that he already breaks the vow of renouncing war. Mikasa says, Eren, you were acting weird yesterday, are you okay? I'm fine. I was just having a nightmare. Eren says, but he's not smiling like he used to. What kind of nightmare do you have? Connie asks. It was just something stupid. Eren shakes his head and says, don't worry about it. Then they decide to leave Eren alone, and after the training, they all head to Historia's orphanage to help out. While helping them out, a kid is having a fever. When the scouts are trying to find the doctor, Eren says, let me do it. Eren? This causes everyone to be surprised. Historia asks, Eren, what are you talking about? I got my father's memories, so I know some medical stuff, just let me try it. It will be late when the doctor arrives. Eren says. Hurry up and bring the kid to bed. Two of the workers nod as they help him, and Eren is now helping heal the child. Once Eren comes out, he says, I've already given him the medicine, he just needs some rest. I never knew you would be able to do that medical stuff. Historia says with a smile. But thank you for helping him. It's nothing. Eren says while continuing to help the children. On that evening, everyone already leaves the farm. When Historia is about to close the orphanage, she sees that Eren is leaning at the barn. Historia asks, get in? What are you doing here? Aren't you going back with the scouts? I just think that maybe we can have a talk alone, just the two of us? Eren asks. Historia slightly blushed at the thought of spending time with Eren alone, and she says, "So what do you want to talk about?" Eren says, "Yesterday when I kissed your hand, I received some memories." "Really? What did you see?" Historia asks, and Eren frowns. For some reason, the Attack Titan has the ability to see the future, and I also see the future. It can see the future? Historia gasps. Did anyone know about this? Only you, because after seeing the future, you're one of the people I can trust with the information. Eren says with a frown. Then he starts to tell Historia about the future events, the rumbling, the military's betrayal, and how he's going to die in Mikasa's hands. Historia is having tears in her eyes and asks, "Please tell me that this isn't true, right?" Of course, this is not going to be true. I'll change it with the power of the Founding Titan. Just because we know it doesn't mean we have to follow it. Eren says. Founder Ymir also doesn't want it to happen as well. Founder Ymir? Historia is confused as to what Eren is talking about. Then he also starts to tell her the story of Founder Ymir. The reason why we don't know about this is the memory wipe from the first Rice King. However, nobody outside of the island knows about this, and even if they know, they will just hide the truth because they still want us to be the center of all evil. We are just devils and they can't pity the devils. Eren says. But this isn't fair. If that's the case, do you still think that the rumbling is the only way? Some people outside the island are completely innocent just like your mother. There will be innocents who will be unaware of their fate and death. I'm well aware, however, the only way to completely end the ongoing hatred is to eradicate the hatred outside this island for good. Just as I tell you from the memories, in the future, my brother Zeke will send the anti-Marleyan volunteers to the island, and they will make a deal so that you will be forced to turn into a Titan and have you eat Zeke, and after 13 years, you'll be eaten by your own child. I am not going to let that happen. But if we do the rumbling, we'll live with the guilt for the rest of our lives. Historia says. If you can't live with it, I can manipulate your memories using the Founding Titan. Eren says. But I can't do that. Historia says. You can. You saved me. You told me yourself, you were the worst girl in the world. Eren says. I am not going to do the rumbling right now, I also want to achieve peace with the other nations. But that is if they are willing to listen to us. For years later, they are going to gather all the nations to declare war on our island. Right now we don't have any advanced weapons to defend our people. You said so yourself, there will be innocents who will be unaware of their fate and death. However, as long as they are Eldians, the world doesn't care about that. That's... Historia frowns. Eren, why are you telling me this? If you want to do this in the beginning, you wouldn't need to tell me about this. You're right, but after seeing those future memories, and having a talk with the Founder Ymir, I feel like you're the only one who I can turn to right now. Eren says. Eren. Historia feels touched and she asks, if you really complete the rumbling, what will you do? I don't know, but I promise Ymir that I'm going to be a father who will show her the true meaning of love to her. Eren says. But we're living in a world that wants me dead. If they want to take my freedom, I'll take theirs first. If we lose, we die. If we win, we live. If we don't fight, we can't win. Historia widens her eyes and she decides to pluck the courage and says, Eren, you said that Sasha would be dead and instead of blaming Marley, they would blame you for her death? And they would also team up with the real killers of Marley and destroy Parody Island and stop the rumbling, is that true? That's why I can't trust any of them with the information. I was scared they're going to do the same once they learn the truth. Eren says. To tell the truth, even though they are all important to me, at the same time, I was also jealous and angry with them. Ever since I joined the Scouts, all I've ever been through was being kidnapped and watching the Scouts die because of me. I was weak, I wasn't able to do anything without the power of Titans. You're not weak. Historia says, don't you forget it? You were able to save Mikasa by killing the two thugs, and you managed to stay on the broken ODM gear, not to mention you stood up to your oppressors even though people would just cower in fear. It doesn't matter if you're a Titan or not, you're special because you're born in this world. Eren widens his eyes in shock before he says, you know. Commandant Shadi's also told me the same thing. He said that those words are actually the words that my mother told him. But are you sure you're still wanting to stay by my side? I mean, after everything I said, I might become a monster and a devil that I hated myself to be. You're suffering, and like I told you, when I see people crying to themselves, saying they're not needed, I want to tell those people that's just not true. No matter who. No matter where. I'll come to their rescue. That includes you. As for why choosing you instead of those people you're going to kill, that's because I told you, I might be the worst girl in humanity, but I'm your ally. Historia. Eren stares at her with surprise. Now he knows why everyone from the same training corps will refer to her as a goddess, and suddenly, the two of them lean forward and their lips meet each other. They share a kiss and stay like that for longer before breaking. Historia, I'm sorry. I don't know what comes toward me, but... Before Eren can continue, Historia shuts him up with a smile. Eren. I actually like you for such a long time. As the queen, a lot of royal families have been giving me suitors, saying how they are perfect for me. But I don't like any one of them. Ever since Ymir, I mean my best friend, not the founder, was gone, you were the only one who would cheer me up as well. Historia. But I'm just a normal person, the people won't agree to this. Eren says with a frown. Why do we need to care what they think? Historia asks. And besides, you say you're the founding titan, and you can basically control them, they won't be able to do anything to you. Eren finally smiles at Historia, and he says, thank you for cheering me up. I really need it. Historia says, so what do you think of a marriage between us? Eren says, I think it is a little early for our marriage, maybe we can wait for 3 more years until we're in the age of marriage? Historia leans on Eren and says, I don't mind as long as I'm with you. And by the way, father of Ymir, how funny is that I want to name my daughter Ymir as well. Yeah. That's better. I'm sure you can be a great mother for Ymir. Eren smiles as he wraps his arms around Historia. After staying like this for a while, Historia asks, so what is your plan right now? It would take 9 months before reaching the ocean. I'm going to use the power of the founding titan to turn every titan back to humans. I know a lot of them are innocent, and after that, I'll try to gather more followers. But what about your job as the scouts? Surely Commander Hang won't just let you go like that, right? Historia asks with a frown. Don't worry, they will do just fine with me or without me. After all this time they have been trying to save me instead of using my power to retake Wall Maria. Eren says. Founder Ymir and I will also search for the successors for the Titans once we take them from Marley. I see. Historia says. I hope everything will be fine. After leaving the farm and back to the scouts' headquarters, he is surrounded by others and Armin asks, Eren, where have you been? We have been trying to find you these hours. Sorry, I stayed behind because I still need to monitor the orphan sickness. Eren says. Maybe I should also try becoming a doctor as well considering that I have the memories of my dad. That sounds nice as well. Sasha says, if we're injured, maybe we can just ask you to treat us. Are you sure you can trust Eren's medical skills? I mean, no offense, but medical skills are actually hard to master. Especially someone in your age. Jean says. I'm fine. Now if you excuse me, I need something to eat right now. Eren says as he gets his tray of food to eat.